Fafa is asking, can you travel by plane with Kundalini head pressure? Can it provoke injuries in the head? Okay. Well, of course, we're not here to give any medical advice or anything. We're just a bunch of people on the internet talking. Um, I'm sure you can travel by plane with Kundalini head pressure, but I think there's some considerations to be made. Sometimes with Kundalini, people get a lot of popping in the ears. A lot of that prana life force, that oxygen kind of gets sort of moves up into the head to, of course, bring bring upwards that energy of Shakti, right? Um, Traveling by plane, I can imagine, may amplify some of those experiences in the head. You know how our ears pop and whatnot. So if you're experiencing significant head pressure as a result of this process, it may be something to consider. Can it provoke injuries in the head? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would imagine that you're safe solely based on my relationship and trust with the Divine Mother and the intelligence of this process. So we would hope that being infinitely intelligent, this energy of consciousness, of Shakti, of the Divine Mother, of our higher self, would ensure that it tones itself down in the event that maybe we're going to be traveling and the head pressure can get a little too much for us. One would hope, and I've experienced different things like this, many others as well. For example, in the book Kundalini, The Master and the Disciple by Q. Eckstein, he writes about somebody going through significant purging. They've got the runs, they're going to the bathroom a lot, like nonstop. It's part of their purging process, a lot of emotions being purged out of the digestive system and whatnot. So they're running to the bathroom, right? Nonstop. And they have to go travel to another city, and it's going to be a few hours drive. And so the person's trying to pack extra toilet paper to ensure that they're able to, take care of themselves on the road. And the guru, the master there says, don't worry, you don't need the toilet paper. Once you begin traveling, all of this purging, it will just stop because the Shakti knows that now you're not in a place where this is convenient or ideal. So it will just stop. And of course, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. Like how can it just stop? Like, how does this energy or this process know that I'm traveling? Well, the person went and, went to the other city and all the purging just ceased. So this is how the process can unfold. There's an intelligence orchestrating it. It's not random and it's not impersonal. It's very personal. And this is where our relationship with some sort of higher power beyond our mind has to come into play. So some things to consider there. Another thing to consider, Gordon Curtis, I interviewed him on my channel. He's one of the uh, facilitators at When Lightning Strikes. He describes his Kundalini awakening took place on an airplane, right? So he's on the airplane. He makes a statement about surrendering to God, and suddenly he gets this, experience of being struck by lightning, and he's having the Kundalini awakening on the plane. So just something to think about there. I wouldn't worry about this. Just say, some sort of prayer, trust, invoke the Divine Mother, the presence of God to take care of you and know that all is well. Let's hear from Linda.
Hi.
Hey, Linda.
I just want to add a little bit on the question of traveling with a Kundalini pressure in the head. I travel quite a lot with my work. So when I caught the Kundalini, I had it a lot in the head as well. But then I found out that that's when I found out that Shakti has a conscious of her own that we can communicate. So I had to ask her. I told her that, okay, listen now, I am traveling and this trip means a lot to me. I cannot not travel. Please be easy on me. When I come to the hotel, then you can do whatever you want with me. So it happened that way. The minute I just walked into the hotel, I was completely out of myself. I just checked in and went to the bed and lay me down. And she did what she had to do. And also in the earlier days, I was hiding it from my colleagues. But then when I just made up my mind that it is what it is, and I told them that I'm going through something, so don't be scared when I start shaking or I'm vocalizing something. Yeah, so when I did that, it became all right. They accepted it with a lot of questions and all that. So it's always nice to just talk to her. She understands, she's caring, she's loving. She will understand and you will be able to travel. It sometimes like the jerking can really come up when you're up there, but it's just a matter of breathing. Just breathe out. And most of all, I found out that it's more in my head that there are people that are observing. It's in my head that I'm going to be sick, but it has always gone fine. So just talk to her. She's loving. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. It's a great example and very courageous of you to speak to your colleagues openly about what you're going through. Yeah, I like to think that we can absolutely negotiate, communicate, make deals with the Divine Mother, Shakti, Kundalini. I think I'm convinced that this is actually what she wants. She doesn't want to have it just be a one-way thing. I think she wants to actually have some engagement from us, some relationship with us, some dialogue, right? So I like what you said to her, Linda. You said, listen here, this is the deal. This is what I need. And then, of course, when you get to the hotel, you keep your end of the deal. You have to keep your word. You have to keep your word. So what I say to people who are experiencing intense kriyas and whatnot at work, for example, we say, okay, look, we have this conversation with the intelligence within. Hey, look, I'm at work. It's not convenient for me. Please take it easy on me. But once I get home or before bed for 1 hour, I'm all yours. Have your way with me. And we have to then keep our word and really surrender and allow it to, shake us. Emotions come up, kriyas, whatever it may be. This is definitely one way of going about it. Yeah. So thank you so much, Linda, for that great real life example. Let's hear from Teresa, and then we'll check out what's going on in the chat.
Thank you, Brent. Yeah, so I'm just bouncing off of what Linda was just talking about and what you were saying. What I found is that it's the way my mind takes it. It's not exactly this way, but this is how I kind of take it is it's a negotiation and communication. So I'm learning how to communicate with my higher self, guides, whatever you want to call it, Shakti, the energy, the universe, whatever. And there you're learning how to communicate with me. So there's a process where sometimes I will see things, hear things, feel things, sense things, whatever, and I don't know what it is. I'm like, okay, I'm getting something, but I don't know what this is. What am I supposed to do here? And then through a process of different, over a few days, sometimes a few weeks or months, I will learn other things. And then all of a sudden, my mind will go back to that one thing days, weeks, months ago. And I go, oh, that's what this was. So it's like they're learning it's learning how to communicate with me, and I'm learning how to communicate with that. So it's like a negotiation and communication, understanding what the boundaries are with each other. And at the same time, I totally agree. Shakti, universe, energy, whatever you want to call it, it's not wanting you to just roll over and do as I say. It's not about dominance. It's not about It's not about following or falling to your knees and begging or anything like that. It's about open communication. And I think that's the case with everything. It's about open communication and understanding and compassion, not just with others, but with myself. Big time with myself, because I don't know about any of you guys on here, but I know I can be my own worst critic, by far my own worst critic. So whenever I'm nice to myself, then I understand more. But whenever I'm being harsh on myself or judging myself or this isn't right, just having a difficult time with whatever is going on in life, then I notice that the struggle is much harder. But whenever I'm just kind of like, okay, it is what it is. Let's see what we can do and go more into solution mode instead of problem mode, like be more solution focused rather than, oh, this is so horrible or, oh, this is so bad. Or instead of doing all of that and beating myself up, whenever I go into the whole communication thing, then I go, oh, this is a bit easier. It's a challenge, but it's not a bad challenge. It's a good challenge. So, yeah, communication. That's what it's about, communication.
Great. Great insight. Great breakdown and perspective. Yeah, she doesn't want us to just roll over. I don't think that's surrender in the way that she's asking for. Not in this like giving up type of thing. It's not in like her trying to dominate us. It's a surrender to the collaboration. That's one way of thinking
Correct.
about it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like a blending of the two, not
Hmm.
a one dominating over the other. It's a blending of the two to where you get the gray area instead of the straight black or white. It puts you into that gray area or the middle ground,
Yeah.
the right path, however you want to look at it. It's that middle ground. It's walking that middle path. So you see both sides. You see the black and the white, but you're in the gray area where it's more of a harmony. It's more of a blending and harmony of it. Yes.
Well said. Well said. Thank you so much, Teresa. Brilliant. Others relating about traveling with head pressure. Tay shares here, I traveled with head pressure. I've been having head pressure since the beginning of my awakening. I actually started 1 year before, where Kundalini was very kind during the time I had in the airport and travel itself. Amazing, right? Amazing. Rua shares here, that actually happened to me. I was worried about flying while I was going through some intense Kundalini purging back in March, and the purging stopped completely during my entire weekend trip. I was so grateful. But speaks to what Brent is talking about regarding its intelligence. Amazing. Thank you both for sharing your experiences that validate what I was sharing. The intelligence of Kundalini knows everything about us. And this translates over not just beyond when we're traveling and when we're not traveling. She knows everything about your relationships, your bill, your future, your bills, your future, your health, your schedule. She knows everything, everything. And so you can completely trust her to take care of it all, right? And this is what I've done. For me, I've also incorporated this idea into this work of service. So I say, Ma, Kundalini, Divine Mother, you know what I need to do in life, what I need. If you want me to serve, well, then I trust that you'll handle everything else that is necessary for me to serve, right? And so I hear back, of course, just relax. Everything is taken care of, right? So keep that in mind. We take that attitude beyond just this idea of traveling and not traveling and whatnot. It's like everything can be handed over to her.